Hey everyone, this is Sasha bringing you a video tutorial today from BP4U. And today we're going to be talking about our menus up here in this little kind of menu bar. So the first thing that we have here is a new catalog. We can open a catalog or we can open up a recent catalog. And the only catalog that I have is my Lightroom 3 catalog, so that is currently my only option. Here you can optimize your catalog, which is kind of like a quick pick-me-up for your catalog if it's running slow or lagging behind. Here you can import your photos and you can import them from a catalog, and you can check out the import video for more information on that. Here you have tethered capture. Tethered capture is really fun. You can hook your camera up to your computer and you can start this tethered capture, and what the tethered capture does is it allows you to use your Lightroom kind of like a big screen for your camera, and you can see what you're about to capture on your Lightroom, and you can actually use your Lightroom to kind of click your shutter button and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's really fun to play with and definitely something that you should check out. Here you have auto import. If you want to start an auto import, then that can be an option for you to go ahead and set that up. Here you have your export settings, and you can check out the export video tutorial for more information on that. Here we have our plugins. I don't currently have any plugins, but you can purchase some plugins for your Lightroom, and sometimes you can find them online for free as well, and you can manage those there. So here we have our quick collections. If you have a quick collection, you can access that and set that up here. Or you can also come over here and you can look at your quick collection. You can see that currently I only have one photo in my quick collection. And so I can switch back to all of my photos right here. You can see again that I have that whole panel bin down here. I can also add these photos to a quick collection right here by just right clicking on that, and then when I go back to my quick collection I have that in there as again. Okay, so and then of course I can save that and I can clear that there. So here I have my library filters, and those are the same things as that I have over here, and so I can use those library filters to sort my photos and to kind of filter them so that I'm only seeing whatever I'm wanting to see. The next thing down here I have is my print and my page set up for my print, or I can exit Lightroom here. So here I have my edit menu, and in my edit menu I can undo my last change, or I can redo my last change. Here I have my select all option, which is going to select all of my photos down here in my photo bin. I can click select none, or I can select just a couple of things, and I can invert that selection, so I'm selecting everything but what I had originally selected the first time. Now I can deselect my active photo, or I can reselect an active photo. I can select only, so if I went to select all, then I could go to select only the active photo, and it's going to have it so that only this picture is selected. I can select just my flag photos, or I can deselect all of my unflagged photos. So here we have our preferences. This is going to be especially important if you are importing your Lightroom presets, because this is where you're going to go to do that with. And you can see down here that we have this Show Lightroom Presets folder, and that's where you would click in order to import your Lightroom presets. So here we have some general settings. We can set up our language, which in my case is English. We can set up our settings. We can show our splash screen during startup, or we can turn that off. And we can automatically check for updates, or we can turn that off. When starting up, we can choose what catalog that we want to use. For me, that's my most recent catalog. Here we can decide whether we want to, in our import options, show our import dialog box when a memory card is detected, ignore camera generated folder names when naming the folders, or we can treat JPEG files next to RAW files as separate photos, and those are options that we can decide whether is right for us or not. Here when we have some completion sounds, And so you can choose whether you want to use some of those sounds when finishing importing photos or when finishing exporting photos. And so those are some options for you to choose from if you want a sound upon completion of those things. So here you can reset all of your warning dialogues if you so choose to, and you can work on your catalog settings there as well. Here you can choose how you want to work on your external editing. You can edit your photos and for me, I can edit them in Adobe Photoshop CS5, and I can choose what file format that I would like to see those in, a TIFF or a PSD, and what color space that I would like for those to be moved over in, and my bit depth and my resolution, as well as my compression. If I had another file editor as well, then I could set that up for that editor there as well. So here I have my file handling, and I can decide how I want all of these settings to look down through here upon my import of digital negatives, my reading my metadata, and my file name generation, as well as my camera raw cache settings. And then here I can work on my interface settings. And so those are some options that I can go through as well. But I'm not going to change any of those right now because I'm pretty happy with the way that my interface looks. Down here is another way that you can get to your catalog settings, and so you can set up that as well. Here you can set up your identity plate. This, the whole way across here, is your identity plate, and so you can use that to change your font, or you can even change what it says. And here you can edit your watermarks, and for more information on that, you can check out the watermarks video. Here you can work on your snapshots, your presets, and your history, and we talked about a lot of that down here with our snapshots and our history videos. Here we can use our previous photo or our next photo, and that's going to do the previous photo and the next photo down here in your photo bin. So here again, we can also add this photo to our quick collection, which is another way that you can access that, or you can hit B on your keyboard. We can show it in Explorer, or we can show it in Library. We can choose Edit In, and we can open it up in another one of our editing programs if you have another one. Here you can choose to create a virtual copy. You can rotate and flip your photos here. You can flag, set a rating, or a color label for your photos here. You can save some metadata to your file. You can read metadata from your file, delete the photo, remove it from your catalog, or delete all rejected photos. Here we have some settings. We can reset all of our settings. We can choose what process that we want to use this in. The only time you're probably going to use this is if you're in an older process and you're moving up to a newer one. For example, if you're moving up from Lightroom 2 to Lightroom 3, then you'll probably need to update your process. Here we have our copy settings and our paste settings from our previous photo. Auto white balance, auto tone, we can convert to black and white. Here we can sync some of our settings if we have multiple photos selected. Here we can reset our crop or crop to our same aspect ratio. We can constrain our aspect ratio and rotate our cropped aspect. Here we can copy after settings to before. We can copy before settings to after, and we can swap those settings as well. Here we have some ways to get to our tools that we have over here. Just another option of how to get to them. Here we can choose our target adjustment tool, and if you remember right, when we watched our tone curve video and we talked about the tone curve, we had that tone curve target adjustment. And so here is again how you can get to that. And if you haven't watched that, then that's a really great thing to check out. We also talked about that with our hue, saturation, and luminance, our HSL panel, and with some of our black and white. Here we have our tool overlays, our crop guide overlays, and our adjustment brush overlays. Here we can choose what we want to view. We can hide our sidebar. We can cycle through our loop view or toggle our zoom view. We can zoom in and out. We can choose whether we want to see a before and an after and how we want that to look, which again you can do down here. You can show your clipping, your loop information. your view options, and you can choose whether you want a grid, loop, compare, or survey view. Here in our window, we can start a slideshow. We can jump to our panels. Right now we're looking at our basics panels, so we can switch down maybe if we want to hurry up and get to camera calibration instead of scrolling. We can just go ahead and we can click on that as well. Here you can decide what kind of screen mode that you want. We're currently browsing in normal. We can also do full screen with menu bar, or full screen. And we can do full screen with hiding our panels as well. Here we can decide whether we want to dim our lights or turn them off. So here that would be dimmed, and if we turn them off, then all of this around here would be completely black. Here we have the secondary display options that you can go through and choose from as well. We can go back, we can go forward, and we can choose which module that we want to look at. Right now we're currently in the develop module, and we can access those from over here as well. Here we have our help menu, and we have our Lightroom help. We have some rules, we have our develop settings, our plugin extras. You want to pay attention to the Lightroom registration. If you have not registered your product, you can do that there. We have Lightroom Online. We have our check for updates. If you are needing an update for your Lightroom, then you can check for that here, and if there is available, then you can go ahead and download that. We have our system information, our product improvement program, and our About Adobe Photoshop Lightroom here. And so our menus can be really helpful. A lot of the stuff you can access from outside of those menus. But again, if you can't remember the shortcut to it, or you can't remember how to do it, most of your options are also available up here in your menus as well. So thank you for watching this video tutorial. Happy editing!